You're sitting in a 9 p.m. stand-up call in Bangalore, wondering why your increments don't keep up with the price of a sourdough toast. You've hit your KPIs, survived the reorganization, and mastered the art of looking busy on Slack while your laptop fan screams like a jet engine. But when the appraisal letter hits your inbox, the percentage looks less like a reward and more like a rounding error.
It's tempting to blame your manager's lack of empathy or the HR department's algorithmic cruelty, but the truth is far more existential. Your salary is currently being throttled by a group of men in suits who met in a New Hampshire hotel 3 years before India even gained independence. Welcome to the ghost of Bretton Woods.
To understand why your purchasing power is shrinking faster than a LinkedIn influencer's credibility, we have to travel back to July 1944. While the world was still busy with the tail end of World War II, 730 delegates from 44 nations gathered at the Mount Washington Hotel in Bretton Woods. The vibe was less corporate retreat and more saving the planet from total financial collapse. The mission was to create a new international monetary order. On one side, you had John Maynard Keynes, the legendary British economist who proposed a global currency called the Bancor. On the other side was Harry Dexter White, representing the U.S. Treasury, who had a different plan, the U.S. dollar. Since the U.S. held 2/3 of the world's gold at the time, they won. The deal was simple. The U.S. dollar was pegged to gold at $35 an ounce, and every other currency, from the British pound to the newly minted Indian rupee in 1947, was pegged to the dollar. It was a system built for stability in a world
Fast
of
forward
rubble.
to 1971.
But here is the catch.
President
for the modern
Nixon
professional
realized the
working in a
U.S.
glass
didn't actually
tower
have
in
enough
Oregon or a
gold to
startup
back
hub in
all the
shortage.
dollars they'd printed
The
to
system
fund
was
the Vietnam
designed for an
War
era
and
of
the Great
physical
Society.
trade and gold bars,
So in what's
not
known
for a
as
world
the
of
Nixon
high-frequency
shock,
trading
he
and digital
unilaterally
services.
ended the gold standard. Suddenly, the world's reserve currency was backed by nothing but faith and credit.
For the Indian professional, this is where the plot thickens. Because the U.S. dollar remains the world's reserve currency, the Federal Reserve in Washington, D.C. effectively acts as the world's central bank. When the Fed raises interest rates to fight inflation in Ohio, capital flights out of emerging markets like India. Your local rupee weakens, the cost of imported oil goes up, transport costs spike, and suddenly that artisanal coffee in Indiranagar costs 20% more. Your appraisal was based on local performance, but your cost of living is being dictated by global dollar liquidity. This is the Triffin dilemma in action, a paradox where the country issuing the global reserve currency must run deficits to provide the world with liquidity, which eventually undermines the currency's value.
We are living in a 21st century digital economy, running on a mid-20th century financial operating system that has never been properly updated. Every time you see your real wages stagnate while the stock market hits record highs, you're witnessing the Cantillon Effect, where those closest to the source of money printing benefit first, while the salaried professional at the end of the chain, like you, waits for the trickle-down that never arrives. So the next time you're staring at a 4% raise while inflation sits at 7%, don't just look at your manager. Look at the architectural legacy of 1944. We are all essentially trying to buy 2024 lifestyles with a monetary system designed for a world that still used telegraphs and steamships. Your salary isn't just a reflection of your hard work. It's a hostage to a 70-year-old geopolitical agreement that is finally running out of time.